Hey everybody, it's Chris Hawk. So let's talk about NFTs, and more importantly, let's talk about the NFT squeeze, the short squeeze that is happening. We see this all the time, whether it's Google, Google in 2005, Facebook in 2011, whether it's pre-internet. It doesn't matter. This always happens. The market tries to squeeze what it can out of something that's new. In this case today, in today's market, it's NFTs, non-fungible tokens. It's this ability for us to take pictures, to take assets, intellectual property, whatever it is, and sell it. So what's going to happen? The short squeeze is happening. Everybody's trying to sell their sketch, their doodle, their art, their craft, whatever it is, as a non-fungible token. And that's great. This is amazing. If you really think about it, it allows artists to protect their work. Most importantly, for us to invest in work and to have the ability to resell that, to own that thing. The long-term effects of this, I believe, is greater than just what this short squeeze is. And the reason I say this always happens is because right now you have a bunch of people that know nothing about NFTs, that are seeing people making money. They see the headlines of, $2 million spent for this NFT, or make money tomorrow with NFTs. It's always about that. And that's normal. That's kind of what drives the markets. And then it shifts. The bottom starts to fall out a bit, and you start to see innovations using NFTs to solve problems, using technology to do greater things. In the beginning, it's about, okay, what's in the short term can we do with this thing? What is this thing? What does it mean for me? What does it mean for my art, my business, my life? All these things. We're kind of just feeling it out, and that's typical. But what you're seeing is definitely this short squeeze, as I like to call it, because it's just people trying to squeeze the money out of something they really don't know about, but it's pretty cool, which it is. But the long-term gain comes into, what do we actually build with this? What is the functional purpose of an NFT in our everyday life? Because make no mistake about it, you guys, I really do believe that NFTs, non-fungible tokens, are going to put us into this new era, this new economy, from this application-dependent economy that we're living in today, where everything is determined by the applications that we use, the Facebooks, the YouTubes, etc. If you're a Facebook artist, you have your own show, your success really determines, your success is dependent rather on how many viewers, subscribers you have, and YouTube decides how much you make based on your subscriber count, based on ad revenue, right? Unless you're schlepping merchandise or you're using sponsorships, okay, but you're still application dependent for the most part. Smart people have built brands outside of that. What we're moving towards is what we can consider an access economy. This access economy allows us to use NFTs to get access to things we've never had access to before. Really, if you think about it, it's taking creators, intellectual property owners, people who own and create and build stuff, invent stuff, and it's connecting them with consumers and fans in a way that's never been done. That's really what's happening here, right? Fans and consumers get to connect with these creators in new ways, and it makes a lot more sense. It's better in every way, shape, or form, okay? Where we go with that, we'll have to see how this thing plays out. But I will tell you, this access economy is really the key here. If you see what Gary Vee's done, it's a prime example. And he's not the only one who's done it, but it's very clear what he's doing with NFTs and selling an NFT, a sketch, a doodle, whatever it is, for $75,000. That doodle is not worth itself $75,000. Okay, but the dinners that you get with him, the access to him, the access to his knowledge, to his other IP is, and that's why he sells them. This access economy is going to be echoed across every industry. I promise you this. You're going to see musicians that give their fans access to all kinds of things that they've never had access to before. You're going to see products giving you access to training, to special perks, just for being a consumer. You don't have to do anything else but consume and buy our products. But because of NFTs being locked into that now, or capped into that, you can now have access to royalties, to licensing revenue. You can have access to perks, access tokens, to benefits, to customer loyalty, rewards. It's endless. This is the access economy that we're moving into, and that is the purpose. I believe that that is going to be where we see this thing going over the next several years and into the future. It's not about, as great as it is and as cool as it is to have these doodles and sketches and pieces of art being digitized and tokenized for resale, and investors saying there's a value there in buying that. That's great. I hope that works out, but you still are hedging on the idea that that art's going to be worth something to somebody else in the future, right? Based on just the art itself, not the access necessarily that you get. You're not seeing that very much anyway. You're starting to see some entrepreneurs building and working into that, but it's not prominent. It's not the majority. The smart entrepreneurs, the smart businessmen and women are going to take this NFT tech and say, wow, I have a course. I have a piece of intellectual property of any kind, musician, whatever. I'm going to give access to my existing customers or my new customers or my fans, rather. I'm going to give them access to all kinds of new stuff that they've never had access to before. And not only am I going to give them that, I'm going to give them the piece of my upside, a piece of the licensing of the future revenues, or I'm going to give them access to me if they support me. It's not about going to OnlyFans and saying, hey, I'm going to give you some extra videos or photos for you paying every month. That's silly. I think that's a silly business model, but it was needed. Why did OnlyFans blow up the way it did? Because all these creators, all these owners of intellectual property are struggling to find ways, and I mean, it's crazy to even think about because the internet's so big. They're struggling to find ways to monetize their art, their craft, their passion, the things that they produce, make, build, whatever. Because there's so much content now. Think about it. What other choice do you have? You're going to build a WordPress site. You're going to, build products which most people can't do or won't do or don't know how to do. So the next best thing is like, okay, well, if there's a simple way for me to put up the same thing I'm already putting up, but just gate it, meaning you have to pay to see it, it's a simple way for them to make some extra money. And they did it. It was simple. It's not difficult. I don't think it's the best thing for consumers. I think it's silly. I think that having that doesn't really necessarily give you access, but it's a move in the right direction. Okay. Unfortunately, it's not filtered. And so you kind of taint the, look, if you have a great brand and you're on OnlyFans, it's not the coolest thing to say that you're on OnlyFans, if you know what I mean. And that's just part of progress. We learn from that. But if you understand people and you understand creators of IP, they are desperate. They are begging and wanting something for them to be able to share and give access to their fans and consumers, to reward them, to give more so they can get more and they can produce more and do better at what they do. NFTs does that. So if you really want to look into NFTs and say, oh, what is the purpose? What is the play here? The play is moving into this access economy. That's honestly where we're headed because it's its biggest usable function in our society today. And quite frankly, it's the need in society today. There'll be tons and tons of uses of this stuff. Tokenizing your IP is the wave of the future. It has to be. The internet is digital. We have no control over those digital assets, not even physical assets for that matter, but you have no control of that as an artist. And now that gives you the ability to own, control, distribute, give access, whatever. The sky's the limit. So if you're buying NFTs, if you're flipping, making, selling, whatever, trading NFTs, think bigger than that. My suggestion would be to think bigger than just what you see on the surface and think of like, okay, how are consumers going to be made? Let me give you an example. Let me give you a real world example of technology that myself and a group of blockchain fintech developers had built. So we said, okay, what's wrong with crypto? Where's the problems? Where's the gaps? And so we said, okay, well, buying a t-shirt online, digitally, right? If you go online to a website to buy a t-shirt, as great as cryptocurrency is, it's not a great transactional tool. It's not an asset that you would use in a checkout because there's so much friction. When you got to have a wallet and then the price volatility is up and down and all over the place. And then you got to deal with the decimal points not being the same as the currency you're buying. Not to mention the gas fees on top of that. So you wouldn't buy a $20 t-shirt and pay $30 in gas fees, the fees to transact, right? You just wouldn't do it, let alone see a checkout cart with, that t-shirt costing 2 billion coins or something ridiculous. Yeah, it's hard for a consumer. It's not good for consumers. So what we did is we said, hey, let's use NFTs and let's take the power of blockchain and let's create a transactional system for consumers to be able to use this stuff in the real world. What did we do? We created NFTBs, NFTBucks. NFTBucks are NFTs with crypto inside of them, stabilized, just like you would see like a US dollar coin that cannot go up and it cannot go down. So you could have an NFTB that says $100. It could be Santa Claus bucks. It could be Chris Hawk bucks. It could be Mary Sue, homemaker bucks. And that you can make whatever denomination you want. And inside of that, what it does is it puts that into a vault and it stabilizes that currency. But for the consumer, when it goes to buying a t-shirt, you'll take that NFT bucks. Here's an example. You'll take this NFT bucks. You'll buy it, you'll put it in your MetaMask wallet, your wallet on blockchain, you'll hold on to it, and you see it as $20. It's not confusing. It's 20 bucks digitally, obviously, it's not paper. You'll have that. And so when you go to buy something, you just go to the checkout and you look through your wallet and you'll flip through it, say, oh, 20s, 1s, 100s, whatever, up. No, I don't want to use this one. I like the design of that one. I'm going to hold on to that. Or maybe that's a collectible, okay? But then you find the right one, you just swipe up and say, I'm going to use that $20 NFT buck. And boom, your transaction is done. The merchant itself selling the t-shirt instantly cashes this in because it's always worth $20. Right? But at the same time, you're using crypto. You don't have to use credit cards and merchants and deal with that hassle. NFTBucks is a technology that we built to be able to bring usability to blockchain and to transactions. And the cool thing is you can take, here's some examples. We've got Stan Lee, one of the greatest IP creators in the world. Here's a $1,000 US dollar value NFT buck. And this could be collectible. Maybe there's only 5 of these, 10 of these, 100 of these in the whole wide world. Same as any other NFT that you can find on OpenSea. But at any point in time that I want to, if I say, okay, I don't want to collect this anymore, I need the cash, I can immediately just convert this NFT to 1,000 US dollars instantly. I don't have to worry about what coins are going up or down. It is stabilized, the very first stabilized NFT buck. Just an example of what we're building, what we've produced to say, okay, NFTs are great, but what if they had a purpose? What if they had a use? That's the play. Anyways, that's all, guys. Just wanted to share with you the NFT bucks, my take on where we're headed into the future, the access economy. NFT bucks is going to be launching very, very soon with StarStake. Super excited to share you guys what's happening with that. But for now, think beyond the short squeeze that's happening and think bigger of how we can use this stuff for this great access economy we're moving into. That's it. See ya.